It's April the 14th, 2024, and I'm sitting in my parents' room making one of the biggest decisions of my life. But just a few hours ago, I was in a call with one of my friends, and we're speaking about girls. And I mentioned the time where I was sitting in assembly hall, and I turn to my right and I see the girl that I have a crush on pull out a journal from her bag, and my heart dropped at that exact moment because I confirmed that she was no longer like all the girls in my school. All the other girls are just on social media doing bullshit stuff, going out, but this girl's journaling and she doesn't even use social media. And then my friend mentions it. He mentions a topic that I've been trying to hide away from for a long time. My friend sliced everything that I told him. He said, why would you do it later? Why would you do it? Why not do it now? He was encouraging me. He was actually pushing me to get the basket. And I wanted to get it as well. But it was the fear that was holding me back. There was one certain thing that he said that really stood out for me. He tells me, you know that girl you have a crush on, right? Do you think she would want a guy who has like this TikTok boy messy hair who gets into his face when he fights? When he told me that, I quit all my bullshit and I immediately went to my parents' room and I told my mom that I wanted to cut my hair. And she was a little bit shocked at first, but within an hour, I buzzed my hair and I'm laying in my bed sending my friend a photo of me with my new hair. And he gained so much respect for me. And you might think I was crazy for doing this, but I want to share with you what I was thinking at the time. And I want to almost record this video for someone who wants to get the buzz cut but is afraid to do so. And also it's just a video for my younger self that I wish I knew. And what I want to share with you is look at our biggest entrepreneurs of our time. Look at it. For example, you have Alex Hormozi, Sam Ovens. You might not know who they are, but these guys are basically... Sam Ovens has built a company named School. And he's built a company named Consulting.com. And he's gone all in now on School.com, which is this new social media. And it started to pop off now. He's making a lot of money because of it. Alex Hormozi has made over 100 million, has wrote 2 best-selling books, $100 million offers and $100 million sale. And when you look at them, which I'm going to pop a picture of them, one right here, Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozi, they look like they haven't gotten a haircut in such a long time. And that's because they're too busy actually working and trying to make their hair look nice and everything. They look at Alex Hormozi. He literally just puts a cap on, and Sam Ovens, he just doesn't even do anything. He just lets it grow out because he's too busy actually working to focus on getting haircuts. And the reason this hit me was because every single morning I would have to wake up and I'll take a shower and I'll have to put on my sea salt spray to actually make my hair messy, and I would have to go downstairs, dry it, and then I would have to go up and then finally I would be able to sit at my desk and actually start writing and scripting some videos. And the issue was that by that time I already lost most of my motivation in the morning. And it might not seem that significant, but imagine it takes up 50 minutes every single week. Now imagine that every single month, 50 minutes times 4. Now imagine that for 12 times a year. So let's see, every single day you have to spend 10 minutes. Imagine that through a whole year. That's 3,650 minutes that you're wasting just doing your hair. And it really hit me because it made me realize how much time I'm wasting. I would have to wake up at 6 a.m. I'll be a little bit tired. I'll take a cold shower. I'll be wide awake again. I'll go downstairs. I'll dry my hair. I'll already put my sea salt spray. I'll go downstairs. I'll dry my hair. And I would almost have no time to do my work because most of the time was in the morning used up to actually mess up my hair. It literally took me 10 minutes, which basically already took up like 20% of my time in the morning before I have to go to school. It was a complete and utter waste of time because I wanted to get the buzz cut, but I was afraid to actually do so. But here are the reasons I got it, and here's the reason you might want to get it too. One of the main things, and it's a pain point that my friend really played on, was actually attracting more feminine girls. Because before I got my hair cut, I was getting more into the red pill. I was learning a lot about seduction, about attracting girls. And also actually attracting girls. I was getting like 2 girls that I knew were actually into me. Because my friends were telling me, oh, this girl likes you, this other girl likes you. And this other girl, her friends were literally pushing her onto me in school. So she definitely liked me. She was like, I remember I used to sit next to her and she would actually try to take me, trying to mess around with me, trying to write on my arm and everything. But the issue was that I didn't get it with any of them because it didn't fit my standards. They all use social media, and I didn't want to be with them, to be honest. These are kind of girls that are not really going to help me in any way, shape, or form. They're just going to be a distraction, and they're just kind of consuming. So why would I be with them when I have a girl that's actually helping me and is actively trying to help me achieve my goals? So I do remember, actually, I do have a friend who he recently got a girlfriend, and her girlfriend made him download TikTok again. Because my friend didn't have TikTok before his girlfriend, and he's just getting worse and worse and worse because of his girlfriend. I don't want that to happen to me. And the issue was that my TikTok boy with messy hair was attracting more masculine girls who are more into social media. Actually, I remember this one time I was in the park once, and I was laying in the floor in the log watching almost the sunset going down. I was reading a book, and there was this man who walked by with his 2 dogs and his 2 girls. I don't know if it was like, there was like a fairly old man, like elderly man. He was like with 2 other women. They were like same age, like around, I don't know, 50, 60, around that age. and they walked past me, and the man said, "Is that a girl or a guy?" And he said it out loud. He didn't like whisper it or anything. He said, "Is that a boy or a girl?" And it hit me because I actually did look slightly like a girl from a certain angle. And it hit me, and when I went to bed that night, I couldn't stop thinking about that experience that he thought I was a girl. And it was all because of my TikTok little pussy boy hair that made me look like that, and made me attract these more masculine girls who are more into social media. And since I couldn't really sleep that night, it literally took a lot away from my mental energy and a lot of mental bandwidth, which is exactly the next point, which is it took up so much mental power because I would have to watch videos on how to mess up my hair. I'll have to watch videos on how to maintain the hair. I would literally have to, mostly came from my brother, but I had to learn how to actually mess it up. I watched videos on it, and they told me, okay, first you need to make your hair wet, and then you need to put the sea salt spray, mess it up, scrunch it up, and then dry it so it actually stays. So I had to learn all these things. And also during the day, if I had to mess it up again, I had to like actually constantly think about it. I had to constantly touch my face and everything. So I had to spend a lot of my mental energy actually learning and actually keeping my long hair. All this mental energy and bandwidth that I could have been focusing on business. But the worst part was that I wanted to get the buzz cut. I wanted to actually cut my hair. It was just fear of what people were going to think at school. I fear that was holding me back. And that cost me so much mental power because I was thinking, what if I get it then? Oh, what if I get it now? Oh, but I could get it now, but people will critique me at school. But what if I get it later? Then maybe it won't seem as bad. I was just overthinking everything, and I wasn't getting it. It was spending so much of my mental power. There were times where I would literally stare at myself in the mirror for like 30 minutes thinking. I was like pushing my hair back, like pretending I didn't have much hair, like hair or anything. And I was thinking, should I get it? Do I even look good? I was spending like 30 minutes, like maybe every single week doing that. Where I could have just been like reading for the 30 minutes. It would have made such a better difference than me just sitting staring at myself in the mirror. If you do have long hair, you've never experienced having like TikTok boy Bessie long hair, is that whenever you're in the wind, it gets so messy all the time. The wind comes by and it messes up your hair. It's so uncomfortable to maintain. The only time your hair would actually be like looking fine is when there's no wind and it's sunny. Because if it rains, your hair flops down. If it's windy, your hair's flopping to the side. It's so hard to maintain, especially if you actually work out and you do go to the gym and you do some martial arts. Your hair gets on your face and it's so uncomfortable. This is what happened to me in BJJ and in judo. My hair would constantly get in my face. I would literally be trying to be gripping someone and I have to do this real quickly to get the hair off my face. And now I won't have to do that because I basically don't have any hair now. These are some examples that my brain came up with and the main reasons I actually cut my hair. And there were so many pros of, okay, I wouldn't have to have messy hair. I would get to spend more time actually working on what I like. I'll get to do this. I actually feel more comfortable. I actually attract the girl that I like. There were so many pros. And there was like zero cons. The only con was like, there's fear. That's it. There's so many pros and there's like zero cons. So why wouldn't I get it? And something that I remembered as I was buzzing my hair was the quote from The Way of the Superior Man, which is, would you still be living the same life if you had no fear? Because 99 times out of 10, it's usually fear that's holding you back from what you want to do. Because for me, I wanted to get the buzz cut, but I was afraid of what people were going to think at school. But I'm glad my friend was able to call me out on my bullshit, and I feel so much better actually having it because it's so much more comfortable. I already emphasized like 50 times the reasons I got it and why it was worth it. If you do want like-minded guys around you who are thinking of these high-level stuff of who are going to praise you when you make big decisions, like let's say you want to buzz your hair or whatever, if you do want a community of guys who hold you accountable, who call you out on your bullshit, who pushes you to actually your limits, to actually become the best version of yourself, you can maybe speak to someone and build a business strategy or whatever. Imagine you were able to do that. So I have free community you can join, which is the first thing in the description. I'm doing free coaching course about biz, about self-improvement, about you can come in, ask me questions, I'll give you advice. I like all the normies around the world who, bro, if you ask someone on the streets, how do I improve my life, bro, they'll say some bullshit like Andrew Tate thing short they heard. Like, why would you want that? Why not join a community where you can learn from me, where you can learn from other guys, and you actually can improve your life through that, instead of around the normies around you, or maybe your old friends, maybe your friends at school, to be honest. So I'll be the first thing in the description, and I'll see you in there. And at the time, I wanted to get the buzz cut, but there was this fear that was holding me back. And the main fear was, what were people going to think at school? And from my experience is, people actually get used to your new haircut within 10 minutes. Bro, I don't know why I thought like people would see like a massive difference in you. Which, when you first look at yourself, yeah, you might see a big difference. But that's because you don't look at yourself every single day. I mean, you do look at yourself, for example, in the mirror. But what I mean is like, you don't look at yourself all day, every day. You just look at yourself maybe when you're walking past a mirror or whatever. So you really look at yourself for maybe like 10 seconds and that's it. Other people are seeing you for literally every second that they're looking at you. So within literally 10 minutes, people get used to your new cut. I remember this actually happened to me when I walked into a tutor at school. And since I had a new cut, everybody was kind of shocked and everybody was kind of laughing, but not in a bad way, like in a good way. Like, oh, you cut your hair, that's cool, that's everything. And within 10 minutes, everybody just kind of forgot I even exist because they already got used to my new cut. And people have actually complimented me on my new cut. They actually like the lineup, they actually like the fade, they like that I actually have shorter hair, they say it suits me and everything. So you might not know, this might actually be a better choice for you and you might not even know it. And interestingly enough, girls like to touch their hair because it almost feels like a bear. I don't know if you ever touched a bear, I mean I haven't, but you can imagine if you touch a bear, you'll feel like soft. And that's exactly how your hair feels. It's like soft, silky, smooth. But one of the biggest lessons that my friend taught me, and one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn was that you're not that important in people's lives. It sounds a little bit offensive, but let me explain. Look, when you get back home, do you remember the guys at your school? Probably not. Literally, you come back home and you've already forgotten everybody at the school even exists. And that's exactly what happens to you with them. You're not that important in people's lives. If you were important in people's lives, they'll keep you in your mind constantly. When people from your school go back home, they're going to forget you even exist because you're not that important. I need to ingrain that in your mind because if you think you're too important, you're going to think, oh, if I cut my hair, then people will look at me weird and they're going to critique me and all these kind of things. But you're just overthinking it. People will literally get used to it after 10 minutes. People will compliment you. In fact, girls will touch your hair and you're not that important in people's lives. It's something that I had to learn and something that I wish I kind of knew and I want to pass on to you. That you're not that important in people's lives. And I know I keep saying it, but it's something that I want to emphasize. People just forget about you that you even exist within 10 seconds of not seeing you. Literally, guys at your school don't even remember you exist right now. And talking about school, I remember I used to have this belief of, what if I get it when school ends? So this is like, I think it's July when school ends. So I was thinking, okay, what if I get it near the end of July? So 2 months, so I get it during the summer break. But I told my friend that, the guy I was on a call with who encouraged me to get the bus card, I told him that, but then he mentioned to me, why would I delay the pain? Why would I delay the pain? Because people were still going to see it changing me. I'm just delaying the pain. I'm just using all my mental energy. Because what difference will it make if I get it now and I get it later? It's still a change. The guys who are going to laugh at you will laugh at you. The guys who are going to critique you will critique you. You're just delaying the pain. It's making absolutely no difference. It's just delaying the pain and making it worse for your future self. Why would you do that? It's almost like you eat an ice cream right now and you make your future self less motivated to do the work because you ate that ice cream and it felt really good now. Why would you do that? And that's like to a micro level, but to a big level will be you not cutting your hair now and you just delaying it for your future self. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't have even gotten the cut during summer because I would have been too afraid to do so. And I remember I had so much fear that I told my friend this: if I get the cut now, that people will see that if I come back to school, my hair will be shorter. When I come back to school, people will see that it's shorter. So when I cut it in the weekend, and I come back with shorter hair, it won't seem like that big of a difference. You have probably no idea what the fuck I said. I don't even know what I said. It's basically kind of like what I said to my friend. Literally almost word for word what I said to my friend. And my friend said these 6 words that I will never forget. And that was, you sound like a complete autist. And I did. And I really let those words sink in and realized how much of a pussy I was. Because that sentence that I told you of, if I cut my hair now and then I come back and it looks shorter, that's exactly what I told to my friend. I was just basically giving up a stupid reason, and I don't want you to be like me, having these stupid reasons like, okay, if I cut my hair now, then I'll come back later and it will look shorter and this and that. Like, bro, you're overthinking it. And if you want to get the basket, just get already. There's so many pros, there's no cons. Literally the only thing that will hold you back is just the fear of what people will think at school. That's it. But when you go through that fear, you get the rewards of it. Did you really think getting the good results was going to be easy? No, you have to get pain, you have to sacrifice, you have to face fear. And this is exactly what I had to go through, and it's exactly what I want you to go through if you are experiencing something just like me. Another fear that I had was that, what if I look bad? And surprisingly, 9 times out of 10, you actually kind of do look good with a buzz cut. If your barber gives you a nice fade, a low taper, and a lineup, you actually look pretty good. You might think you have a big forehead, but to be honest, most of the times you actually don't. Because, bro, there's guys who have it way worse than you, and they will be grateful to have a forehead like you. Let's say maybe my forehead is actually pretty small, surprisingly, if you really look at it. It's really small. But let's say my forehead was up here, which is quite big, I'm not gonna lie. Let's say up here, right? So, bro, there are guys who have forehead like up here. So you should be grateful that, let's say your forehead might be here and you might be like, oh, is my buzz cut like gonna make my forehead look too big? Bro, remember there's guys who have foreheads back here. I actually have a friend who seems to have a big forehead. He has his forehead like up here. He's got a buzz cut and he actually looks good. So don't think that, oh, you're different, bro. Like, remember what I told you. You're not that important. You're not that special. Remember, you're not that special, bro. Your forehead might seem like it's up here, but there are guys whose forehead is up here. So just be grateful. You're not the only one who has to suffer through this. There's other guys who have to suffer through having a bad forehead. I had the opposite problem where my forehead was too small, where if you see, my hair actually grows down here. And something that pops into my head is that imagine you look like a 10 out of 10 with a buzz cut. Let's just picture that. Imagine you did, but just because you were too afraid to get it, you would never show yourself with a buzz cut, and you never achieved your fullest, like, best look just because of fear that held you back, and you were never able to see yourself with your best cut. Imagine if that happened to you. Imagine, let's just picture this. You might not believe in God, but let's just picture this. Imagine you're like in the sky or whatever, and there God is looking down at you, and he shows you a picture of what you would have looked like and the experiences you would have had with a buzz cut. You would have been more confident. You would have built so much mental power from you having to come into school with a new cut. Everybody had to make fun of you. You went through that, and because of that experience in the future, you were able to excel in your business or whatever. Imagine like God shows you that, and you were there with your cute little TikTok boy hair, and you didn't get to experience that life because you were too afraid of it. But remember, you're buzzing your hair up. That's a massive change. And if you do get it, I have a massive respect for you, because it does take a lot of level of being a guy to actually do that. It does take a level of confidence. It's not just about the way you look and the way you feel. It's about the mental things that you actually gain from it. The discipline, the confidence, the trust, where you had to face the pain, but you had to go through it anyway. It builds you up a lot. And even if it doesn't look good for you, it literally just grows out in 1 month. Look, I cut my hair maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's already basically growing out again. I will have to cut it soon. So if you don't like it, you can just grow it out, and you might want to get out to here. This is what I used to think. I used to think, okay, if I don't look good with the buzz cut, I'll just grow it out and look like my friend who's got his hair like up to here, which is like a little bit messy, but it's not like as a TikTok boy hair like I used to look like. You might have watched this whole video and you might think like, oh yeah, I'm not going to get it anyway. But just remember, there's going to be a guy out there who does get it, and he's going to probably attract the girl that could have been yours. He's going to take what could have been yours, because while you're here messing your hair up with your little sea salt spray and your little drying thing, he's going to be working on his business. He's going to be reading books while you're here messing up your hair, watching videos how to make your hair look good. And he's going to destroy you. And it's the harsh truth, and I don't want you to be in the losing end of this. I want you to be in the winning end of this. So if you do want to get it, which if you got it this far, you probably do this. You just go up to your barber and just ask him for a buzz cut. He'll tell you, whoa, it's a very big change and whatever, but it'll be such well worth for you. I'm telling you, the amount of benefits you get, the amount of discipline, confidence you get is well worth it. You maybe get like a lineup to actually make you look good. Don't do what I did, which was just cut it at home, which you can do, but you might look a little bit weird, because especially with my hairline, because my hairline kind of went like this, so it made me look a little bit weird. So go to your barber, ask him for a lineup, for a buzz cut, for a lineup, and I usually ask for a low taper. Your barber will make it look good, and I really hope my younger self was able to benefit from this message, because if you're watching this and you were someone like my younger self who wanted to get the cut but was afraid of it, or maybe is facing something similar to wanting to get the cut but is afraid to do so, like, you need to understand that these lessons that I had to learn through fear is holding you back. You're not that important. The amount of discipline and power you'll be able to receive from getting this massive change and going to school with it is going to be well worth all the changes. And I'm grateful that my friend was able to call me out of my bullshit and actually do this. There's so many lessons to be learned from this, and I can't wait for how many lessons you're going to be able to learn from buzzing your hair. You're going to learn you're not that important. You're going to learn these lessons that are going to help you way more than any video will, because your life experience will always help you way more than I could ever do.